Welcome to Pipes, Tobaccos, and Whiskeys. My name is Tom Kuhn. I'm a retired high school band director, and I've been smoking a pipe for 36 years.
Hello, my name is Nathan Kuhn. I've been smoking a pipe for 7 years, and I am in the corporate uniform industry.
Hello, my name is Colton Kuhn. I've been smoking a pipe for 2.5 years now, and I am in the retail music business.
Hello, my name is Ian Kuhn. I've been smoking a pipe for 6 to 7 months, and I am in the corporate retail automotive industry.
This is our premiere episode, and the purpose of this show is to give viewers a look at different pipes, tobaccos, and whiskeys that are two things. Number one, readily available, and number two, affordable. So with that in mind, we are going to start with our first tobacco for this episode. And we chose for the first tobacco, Sutliff's Aromatic English. The Aromatic English is, of course, made by Sutliff Tobacco Company. It was blended by Carl McAllister. It is considered as an aromatic, although I think of it more of an English aromatic. It's made up of Black Cavendish, Burley, Cavendish, and Latakia tobaccos. The flavoring that has been added, according to Tobacco Review, is an alcohol or a liquor type of flavoring. The cut is ribbon, and it's packaged in bulk. According to the Tobacco Reviews, the strength is mild to medium, flavoring is mild to medium, taste is mild to medium, and room note is pleasant. So with that in mind, we're going to go ahead and give you our impressions of what we thought of this particular tobacco. Now, I've smoked it about half a dozen times in different forms. I've smoked it in a cob, I've smoked it in my meerschaum, I've smoked it in some briar. And what I did notice when it first came to us, and I don't know guys if you've noticed the same thing, but that the tobacco was pretty moist.
Yeah, I got that.
And so one time I smoked it without letting it dry out, and to be honest with you, my experience that time was not just fantastic, it was okay. But when I let it sit for about an hour to dry out and then smoked it, each time I did that, it was a much more pleasant smoke.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's start off with the tin note. What did you guys think about the tin notes on this particular tobacco?
When I first opened up the tin and opened up the bag, since it comes in bulk, they don't actually come in a tin option. I got a good whiff of chocolate, a lot of good earthy tones in it from some of the mild Latakia that's in the blend. It was really smoky as well. I didn't get a lot of fruitiness, a lot of spice going on when I opened it, but I could say that right when I first initially smelt it, you could tell that there was the Cavendish, the Latakia. They were pretty predominant when I first opened it.
Yeah, same thing with me. It was just a, I wouldn't say flat, but it was an unobtrusive kind of tin note. It was very mild. Little bit of the Latakia came through with the campfire smokiness kind of smell, but I did get a little bit of vanilla from the Black Cavendish. I also got a little bit of dark fruit notes from the tin. So those kind of came through, but not in a very pungent way.
I got a lot of the vanilla. Actually, whenever I opened up and I smelled it, I got a lot of the vanilla and a lot of the chocolate. I smelled all the sweetness that was coming out of it. I didn't get a lot of Latakia like you did. Maybe you did because you smoke a little bit more Latakia than we do.
Yeah.
And the fruitiness was there too. But I didn't really get the, I didn't get the Latakia. Like whenever you taste it, you can tell. But out of the tin note, I didn't get a lot of the Latakia.
Ian, what about you?
Me smoking predominantly aromatics, it was a little underwhelming compared to what I'm used to. But at the same time, I got a lot of the smokiness, the earthy tones in it. It wasn't too much sweetness to me, Granted, I've been smoking a lot of aromatics, but it was a lot of the campfire type style.
So would you say overall the tin note was pleasant?
Yep.
Was just
Especially if you're trying to go after something more natural rather than, flavored or anything
lots of casing or lots of topping.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I didn't get hardly any of the topping smell in this at all. Okay, well that was our view of the tin note. Let's go on to the visual note as we look at the tobacco. What did you guys see about it? What impressed you about it?
The first thing is that impressed me was in a lot of your English blends, there's not ever really a lot of color, and in this one you see every ingredient that they include into it. You see every bit of it inside the tobacco. You see your Cavendishes, you see your black Cavendish, and I mean it almost looks like something that you would buy as an aromatic in itself. That's what surprised me about it when they proposed that there was a lot of Kia in it. A lot of the blends from English makers that make an English blend look nothing like this, and that's something that I really just went, wow, this looks a whole lot like an aromatic, not a English blend.
Something I noticed about it when I looked at it is that it's classified as a ribbon cut, and it's definitely a ribbon cut, but it's chunky style ribbon cut.
Sure.
It's not a ribbon cut like you would see in a lot of the aromatics. It's very, very fine, thin. It's a bigger, coarser cut, which I think will lend to a slower burn.
Yeah.
Probably get a little more flavor out of it that way too. What about you guys?
Well, like you said, the cut. I was really impressed with the actual cut of it. It looks inviting. It doesn't look like a really bold, like, oh, that's really gonna hurt whenever I smoke it. It's really nice to actually just feel in your hands. I like the moisture of it, but like Tom said, you really have to like let it dry out for it to be a pleasant smoke.
Yeah.
But I like the moisture content. I love the cut of it, and like Nathan said, I love the colors that were going on. And you can see all the ingredients they put in it, which is really, really nice.
And
right off the bat.
Yeah, and the way it's cut, it almost seems like it's maintenance free. Some of the other things that you'll get in ribbon cut sometimes will still be compressed together.
You gotta grind it.
So some people like the flake, some people don't. I personally like to rub everything out to make sure I get all the breathability out of tobacco. And this one is just ready rubbed. It's good to go right out of the tin.
What about you?
I enjoy seeing all the color in it because I prefer the Cavendish all the way. I mean, I smoke a very large amount of Cavendish over anything else, and I enjoy being able to see the black Cavendish and the toasted Cavendish and everything like that. I enjoy being able to see all the color in there. The moisture, not so much a big fan of, just because I like to not have to light it a few times. I like it to be a little bit drier, but I enjoy seeing all the colors in there. It's nice to look at. It's easier to put in the pipe because it's not all stuck together and everything like that.
Right. Okay. Good. Cool. Well, the next thing I'd like to talk about is what were your impressions after you first lit the tobacco in your pipe? When I first lit it, especially the times that I let it dry out, it actually gave me a sweetness.
Yeah.
It started off with a pretty sweet, tasty, fruity, vanilla-y kind of taste to me. When I let it dry out, I didn't have to relight it. So the first light was essentially my only light. So at the very beginning of the smoke, pretty pleasant. What about you guys?
When I first lit it, I mean, you could tell for me that it was an aromatic right from the get-go. There was some of that baseline earthy tones, but the predominant at the height of the bowl after I lit it was chocolate. I can't say it enough. It was creamy. It was chocolatey, very, very smooth. But that's what I got out of it mostly, was just that aromatic flavoring right from the get-go. I just couldn't get as much of that earthy, smoky feel until later into the bowl.
I personally got a lot of the sweetness out of it. I got a lot of the chocolate, a lot of the vanilla, even some caramel. I felt like was in there. I didn't get a lot of the Latakia, unfortunately. I like the Latakia, but the Cavendish was also really, really present in there. So I like lighting it up. That's actually was my favorite part of getting it going. It was just the actual initial taste while you're getting it all going. I like that a lot. So.
Yeah, and from my experience, the first light, I got a little bit of the creaminess and not so much chocolate. Through the whole smoke, I feel like I got a lot of the earthy tones. But then again, mainly aromatics.
Right. Yeah. So the Latakia hit you early.
Yes, it did.
Yeah.
And see, I felt none of it almost through the whole smoke.
Yeah, as a matter of fact, I didn't get any of the Latakia at the very beginning of the smoke. It took me about a third of the way down in the bowl before the Latakia started showing itself. And actually, a lot of people don't like tobaccos that change. They want it consistent from the beginning of the smoke to the end of the smoke. But I enjoyed the change that came because the first of it was enjoyable. But then when that Latakia kind of started coming in at about a third of the way down, it was a nice surprise. It was like, oh, okay, this is a different tobacco at this point. And then from there to the bottom of the bowl, it stayed pretty consistent for me. So,
see, and for me, I just started to get into Virginias and Latakias and things like that, and so it was there, it was present, but like you said, changed throughout the actual smoke, and you get it a little bit more later. So if you're wanting to introduce yourself into something like that, I liked it for that reason.
Well, I also imagine that as you smoke it, the moisture content is changing in the bowl, so that's also going to affect the flavors that you taste. Conditions outside, if you're smoking outside, that's going to make a difference. The type of pipe you use and how often you smoke that pipe with other tobaccos present, that's going to make a difference as well. So all of these things you're going to have to take into consideration as you're trying it.
Well, and the other thing, like we both smoked it in corn cob and briar. At least we did. He smoked it in the corn cob right now as well, and I think you did as well, right?
Not out of briar.
Not out of a briar.
No,
I also tried it in a clay pipe as well, and the clay pipes the one that I have, they tend to burn aromatics incredibly hot, just all the way through. They go all the way through. This one, because of some of those earthy textures to it, I didn't get a lot of heat out of my clay pipes. The one that I have, typically when I light it, I just have to leave it in my mouth because the minute you touch the bowl, you're going to burn your hands. It's hot.
Yeah.
And this time, I will say that there was a lot of coolness going on with it. It did go through all the way, and I wasn't afraid of burning myself with it.
I never felt that it got hot on my hands at all.
No.
That rope church warden that I have. That rope church warden that I have gets really hot whenever I smoke it with a black Cavendish or something like that. And so usually about 2/3 down.
Are you saying the bowl gets
the
hot?
bowl? Yeah, the bowl itself it gets really, really hot, and so like 2/3 of the bowl of the smoke down, I don't really want to touch it. But I smoked it out of that same pipe last night, I think it was, and it was really smooth considering. Compared to other things, compared to other aromatics.
Yeah.
It smoked pretty cold, and I like that a lot.
Well, is there any more input on the first light? Okay, well, let's talk about the overall smoke then.
Yeah.
The time that I didn't let it dry out, it was not a real good smoke for me. But every other time, like I said, I smoked it about a half a dozen times, that I smoked it when I let it dry out, it was a pleasant smoke for me. Throughout the smoke, I'm getting some of the nutty tastes from the burley. I'm getting a little bit of creamy vanilla from the black Cavendish. Sweetness from the regular Cavendish is in there as well. But I'm real sensitive to Latakia, and the Latakia, when it started kicking in for me, boy, that kind of a woodsy incense kind of taste was just really, really pleasant. And like I said, I never really had to feel like I was getting a lap bomb on this or anything like that. So I really think that this is a great tobacco for someone that is looking to move from aromatics to an English blend,
Yep.
maybe,
Yep.
or for someone that's looking for a little bit of a change from a strong English, something maybe you'd like to smoke all day long. I could see me smoking this all the time during the day. Never got tongue bite, never got too hot on the smoke. So, I'm thinking about adding this to my rotation. What about you guys?
I'm predominantly loyal to the Latakia and really strong Perique blends. I thoroughly enjoy those spicy, those strong, sharp flavors. Before I started smoking a pipe regularly, I was a cigarette smoker, and so those flavors contrast well with my taste buds. I didn't get a lot of this flavor that I crave when it comes to me smoking. I like to feel a lot of nicotine, a lot of strength, a lot of. I when I inhale, I want it to hit. And
the nick hit on this is minimal.
Yeah,
it's almost non-existent.
It was an incredibly, to me, a very light, not overwhelming cool smoke. It would be considered an all-day smoke if I wanted to cool down. Sometimes in the summer months, I don't. A lot of Kia blends are very heavy, and I feel sluggish when I smoke them sometimes. So this would be a good smoke. It's not something that I'm going to be putting in my everyday rotation. Every now and then I might purchase it just to have that lighter aromatic blend. But when it came down to that mid of the bowl, I got a lot of earthiness, a lot of smoke. That's when the Latakia started coming through for me, and that's when I really started going from it's okay to oh, it's not bad. This is I like this.
Ian, as a newbie, what did you feel about it?
I enjoyed the fact that it was a little bit less flavor, especially if you're trying to switch over to a predominantly English blend, going from the aromatics or the heavily cased ones. I enjoyed that it wasn't too heavy. It wasn't spicy. It wasn't hot. It wasn't anything like that. And I usually smoke mainly it was Virginias and Cavendish. Those are my usual blends. But this one, it wasn't very hard hitting. It wasn't very intrusive. It was.
Is it something you think you could smoke?
I could smoke it every now and then. I'm pretty loyal to my aromatics and everything like that. I quite enjoy the sweeter ones and everything.
Well, the whole purpose of pipe smoking is to smoke what you like.
Yeah,
so
enjoy.
Yeah, so to enjoy and relax and to smoke what you like. So, and that's the purpose of what we do here, is to give you 4 different opinions on a particular tobacco that's easy to get a hold of and that's not too expensive. Speaking of that, this particular, when I did a search for this particular tobacco, it hit a lot of different online places that you can purchase this, so it's very available. And the price is really affordable. I saw it anywhere from $2.30 an ounce to about $3.50 an ounce. So it's very affordable and very readily available. So, anything else on the smoke, guys?
Actually, yeah. Coming from a chewing tobacco standpoint, that's where I started off, quite a while ago. I started doing that, and so with that, I did naturals. I didn't do the flavored, I didn't do the peach or anything like that, So I always got a lot of that natural tobacco flavor whenever I was first starting to chew tobacco. So with this particular smoke, at first it's nice and sweet, pretty playful, honestly, almost to the point where you're not even convinced that you're actually smoking tobacco. You're smoking something really sweet. But like Nathan said, whenever you get down into the bowl, and I'm about 2/3 of the way through this bowl, I'm tasting a lot of the Latakia, as opposed to the aromatic stuff. None of the caramels really come into play now. It's actually like it's kind of like a good to start really sweet, and then you kind of just get down into the actual smoke. Just transitioning. I really like the transition.
Is it offensive, or do you?
No. It's a really good taste, especially coming from the chewing tobacco standpoint. Like I said, you get a lot of natural taste with the chewing tobacco. Right there at there's like a third of it left or something like that. That's whenever you start getting the actual tobacco flavors. And that's what I really liked about it. At the end, I felt satisfied, with what I was looking for. So.
Going back to the topping that they say they added to this, that alcohol topping or that liquor liqueur topping.
Mm-hmm.
The only time I ever felt like there was that topping in there was when I smoked it went straight out of the bag.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
There was a little bit of that, to the little bit of zing to it that I felt. But every time I've let it dry out, I didn't even detect that at all. So, it's, to me, there's not a whole lot of extra flavoring to it other than what you're getting from the tobacco.
From the tobacco itself,
Right.
yeah.
Yeah.
And typically, I don't like casings on my tobacco. Some type of topping from a liquor or anything. It tends to make a lot of moisture. It tends to make a lot of heat. And like Dad said, it's not bad, this one. You barely taste it just at the initial get-go, that zing that you get from the topping that they used. You get the flavor, and then it's like they added it as a thought, as in like, oh,
A bonus.
here, a bonus.
A bonus,
Here's a little taste.
Yeah.
And then it went straight to the tobacco after that. They really brought out and made the tobacco the flavorings that they wanted in this. I enjoyed it.
And I don't know if it's just my palate coming from a mainly vaping standpoint. Whenever I first started it, and I let it dry for maybe 30 minutes, whenever I first started the smoke, I got more of the Latakia. But then actually going about halfway towards the bowl, that's when I started really getting more of the chocolate and vanilla flavoring. I don't know if that's me used to be able to taste all the flavors right up front with vaping, but after a while I sort of appreciated the more complex flavors on the inside.
Now that we're talking about the end of the smoke, this is a good time to point out that Nathan, if you can see this,
I just tamped
Nathan
out
just
my pipe.
tamped out his
My whole
last of it, and he smoked it all the way down to the bottom. Nice gray ash all the way to the bottom. That's about how I found all of mine too. I was able to, when I dried it out before I smoked
that's
it,
what I did.
I was able to smoke it all the way down, no relights. It was no dottle in there. It just went straight to the bottom.
Yeah, I only had to relight it one time. That's because I got to talking more than I did smoking. So.
Yeah. So the burn rate to me on this tobacco is pretty, I wouldn't say it's slow. I would say it's probably about typical or average. You can easily get a 35-minute, 40-minute smoke out of a normal size bowl. Maybe a group 3 or a group 4 on that, so it was a pretty decent burn rate. Never got any tongue bite out of it. Did you guys?
I got a slight bit. I'm starting to hit it a little bit now. It's towards the end though.
And it could be the moisture that's building up down at the bottom. Yeah. It could also be your cadence if you're smoking it faster than we are. It could be, But I thought that throughout there was really pleasant flavoring all the way throughout. Okay. Anything else on the smoke, guys? All right. Well, what about the room note? What did you think about the room note? Because there was a time where I smoked it, walked away for about 15 minutes, and then came back into the garage, and I got a nice hit from the room note. I was able to kind of get. What did you guys think about it?
About the level of room note. I always kind of use my wife and my kids as a
barometer.
A barometer of sorts for gauging the room note. If my wife would come outside, sometimes she could smell what I was smoking. A lot of smokes I use are very strong, so when you come out, you can. That second hand is pretty strong, just as much as it is for me.
Right initially.
Yeah. And this one, I would gauge that you know, if my family would be able to come out and have a conversation with me and still be able to enjoy the room note that's going on, I would put this at a very good, a very pleasant room note. There was no abrasiveness. There was no, nobody seemed very off-put by the smoke that was gathering in the area that I smoked. And I thought this was very satisfying.
Yeah, a lot of times English blends give off a pretty pungent room note.
Oh yeah.
And people will tell you about it if they walk into it. And this, to me, didn't have that at all.
No.
It was just pleasant.
Yeah.
You know, I don't know any other word other than just pleasant.
Yeah.
There were no particular smells that were, or aromas that were hitting real strong, but it was just pleasant.
Yeah.
So that's what I thought about that.
See,
Yeah.
see, for me, I smoke outside all the time because I'm in an apartment right now, so you can't really light up in the middle of an apartment. But so I didn't really get a chance to try the room note, but from what I'm gauging and from what I've seen today, it's really pleasant, like you said. There's really no abrasiveness. You can slightly smell the latakia, but not to a point where it's like, oh wow, like you just smoked pipe. You know, it smells really, really good, and you can enjoy it afterwards.
I would say a good description is if you've ever gone camping, and then there's the campfire going on. Everybody's sitting around enjoying the campfire, and then somebody brings out some marshmallows and we start toasting some marshmallows. That's the smell of the room note that I would think of.
But not real strong.
Not
Maybe
real
like
strong.
the next day at
Yeah.
the campfire.
Yeah,
you know?
you get the smokiness of the campfire, and then somebody is roasting something sweet.
Yeah, you get
That's what you
right
get.
at the end.
That's I would say it's a really good.
All right, well, we're going to kind of wrap things up here. So to just kind of summarize what we've talked about, we did Sutliff's Aromatic English, and I'd like to hear your guys' final thoughts on it, or what you think about it.
So, me first on this would be, I would give my overall rating as a 3.5 shots.
Out of?
Out of 5. Out of 5 shots, I would give it a 3.5. It's not something, like I said, I would smoke regularly. I prefer really strong blends. And it was piquing my interest. It's definitely something that when I want to relax and enjoy a smoke, but not have to worry about standing up after that.
Here it is.
This is definitely hitting all my notes. So a 3.5 shot out of scale of 5. That's what I would give.
Okay. With me, I was talking about it earlier with you guys, and I thought about it on the way up here, and after just finishing that one, I'm going to go ahead and give it a 4 out of 5 shots, actually.
Okay.
Yeah. Sorry, I changed my vote. But I liked it. I liked the sweetness of it. I really enjoyed the initial light. You got all that sweetness out of it right at the beginning, a little bit of latakia, and I like the way that it changed. After a couple minutes of smoking it, you get down to the bowl and you get that smokiness, you get that campfire smell, and the tastes that were there, they were all very, very present without being offensive. I think I would rotate this into my daily smoke.
Oh.
I would. Just to have that transition from aromatic, black Cavendish, things like that, being able to get into the English blends and things like that, I think this one would be a really good one for that transition.
Yeah, good crossover.
Yeah. That's why I like it, and that's why I'm going to give it a 4 out of 5 shots.
My overall rating, I'm going to go ahead and give it 3 out of 5 shots. I prefer all the flavors that I get from the aromatics and everything like that. I wouldn't necessarily right now put it into my daily rotation just because I prefer the other ones that much. But at the same time, as tastes change and as I go on, since I'm kind of a newbie on smoking pipes, as taste changes and I kind of enjoy and appreciate the more natural tobacco flavors, I might within some time put it into a daily rotation.
Okay.
But I give it right now a 3 out of 5 shots. It's not offensive. It's not
It's not necessarily your cup of tea.
Yeah, it's not harsh, but it's not exactly what I want as of right now.
Okay. Well, my thoughts on it is that it's not a very complex blend. There's not a whole lot of flavors fighting each other.
It's straight.
Easy to smoke, straightforward tastes. I'd give it a 3.5. And I'm thinking about adding this to my rotation of tobaccos as well. I mean, I can probably see up here I've got way too many tobaccos as it is, but
I think you're doing good.
But I could see me smoking this in the car, or outside working in the yard or whatever. This is easy. This is easy to smoke without worrying about tongue burn or anything like that. So I'd give it a 3.5. So overall, our average on this actually comes out to 3.5. And we were talking about rating systems, about how we were going to rate things, and we came up with a shot system. And the reason why we decided that was because we're also going to review some whiskeys as well later on in this show. So we thought, how about rating it with a shot? And that would be a good way. So we are going to actually rate it. Go ahead and put this up there, guys. With a 3,
1,
3,
2,
3.5
3.5
shots. There you go.
There it is.
So our overall rating on this was 3.5 shots. All right. Well, I guess that's a wrap for our first episode. I'd like to thank all of you for watching. I'm going to let my sons talk to you about how you can give us some feedback on this. We'd love to get some feedback from you. If you liked some things about the show, if you want to see some different things about the show, if you want us to review different types of pipes or tobaccos or whiskeys, we'd like to hear from you.
Yes.
So I'm going to let them talk to you about how to do that.
So, of course, first, like, comment, and subscribe.
Yes.
Any type of feedback, put down in the comments. If there's any particular tobaccos you're interested in us tasting or trying, please put your comments in the bottom. That way we can be able to, we'll read those comments and we'll be able to respond and take in your suggestions on certain brands or misapplied innuendos of tobacco or anything. Just let us know, guys. And don't forget to light up that notification bell. That way you can get any type of, any episode we put out, you're going to get reminded of it.
And at the end of this video, we're going to give you an email address that you can also directly email to us. The email I'll tell you now is pipes, tobacco, and whiskey at gmail.com.
That is the letter A.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Not the ampersand.
Not the ampersand.
Yeah, just the and.
All one word.
Also, you can get a hold of me through Instagram, Kuhn, Kuhn, the word music, or you can get a hold of me on Facebook. My name is Tom Kuhn, Kuhn, and you can give us feedback through that as well. Anything else about how to get a hold of us, guys?
That's the best way to get us.
Eventually, we're going to have a snail mail too, a
Yeah.
PO box that you can send information to us or anything like that. But for the most part, you can get a hold of us through those social medias. Okay. All right. Anything else? Well, again, thank you for watching. We'd love to hear your comments and your feedback. So until the next time, which we will be doing another tobacco.
Yeah.
And our schedule on this is going to be, hopefully we can do this once a week.
Yeah.
We'll try to post a
Producing
video
once a week.
So other than that, thank you again. And we want to remind you to make all your piping moments count. And until next time, so long.
Here.
Hey, give me a shot.
Yeah. What do I get?
Somebody's going to have to end up with that.